Refresh yourselves.
Hello? Hi, how are we? How's everyone doing? You've pulled me out of my starting screen. How are we feeling today? Early raid gets the worms for sure. You actually caught me as I'm getting up to go refill my mug. So I'm gonna leave you guys with my nice little chair here for a second, but little introduction. Hi, I'm Strixline. How are we doing today? I'm one of your fellow Anvilite world builders, artist, creature, creator, all of the different things. Stop getting me sippies, I don't have a drink! I have to find the right mug. We're doing article reads today.
Refresh yourselves.
Stop! Hello. Hi, everyone. We've slid in. How many sippies is that? It's quite a few. Like 3? 1, 2, 3? There we go. I think that's all of them. Toy Toy, stop being so chaotic. Such a chaotic force in my stream, sending sippies while I'm away from my desk. Hi, everyone. How are we doing today? We are indeed doing article reads today. For my sponsored prompt. Oh, and of course, you've pulled me out of my starting screen a little early, so I didn't even have time to update my little currently text. So, pardon me while I take a moment to do that. But you're stepping away activates my ADHD. Oh my gosh. No, stop it. It puts like such a... It puts so much pressure on me to go get my drink quickly and return. On what has happened here. Kraybook, thank you for following. I appreciate you. Oh, you already read my article? Am I in the right stream right now? I've not read your article yet. But if you would like me to, you're more than welcome to say so. Just let me get a little more situated. I'll pull up my little list of articles. And then once I am situated once again, I'll ask people if anyone wants readings. We have 3 articles currently, like, set up that people have already requested reads for. So let's see, more article reads. Awesome, venerated. Pretty sure we got time. Yeah, we got time. I'll be on here for like 2 hours, so we got plenty of time. There we go. More article reads. Cool world building. Here we go. Oh, please, Streamlabs, do the thing. There we go. There we go. We've updated our little currently text. More article reads. Cool world building. Awesome venerated characters. Yeah, mine's read already. Yeah, so let's see. We have a list of people that we already read from yesterday. Not yet. It was only yesterday. It's funny how time just flies on by. Let's see if I can pull up my little screen here. Move all this other stuff out of the way. We can set up my little stuff screen. Oh, is it already in the exact right form? That's perfect. So okay. So here we are. And just to show you guys the articles that I read yesterday from Nino Donlord, Kitoy Quisi, Judas Brennan, Satrium, Pripyonti Poppycock, and Keon, Dwyron Stormborn. Lots of cool articles. We had like 7? Yeah, we don't dunk on ourselves in this chat. We don't do that around here. We have good times. And yeah, everyone who participated in SummerCamp, heck, even those who didn't participate in SummerCamp, you're all wonderful. You all make amazing work. And not a single person that I have seen saying, my work is awful, has actually had awful work. Not a single one. And sometimes the people who yell it the loudest are, in fact, excellent writers, and they do not deserve this at all. So be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself. I'm gonna be nice to you. We're gonna be nice to you. So you better start being nice to you. Brain goblins be evil? They are. They are. So I cannot hold it against you. I cannot hold it actually against you if you feel like your work is subpar. But I'm gonna be the one to tell you. I think it's awesome. But anyway, yes. So I will be more than open to anybody who wishes to have their article read. Just like drop a message in the chat. If I don't see it, you're more than welcome to remind me, obviously. I will try to get through as many as we can today. This is really just helping me clear out my reading list so that I can, you know, just have like a dedicated sit-down time to actually read these articles through and through. I will read any articles that have been submitted to my prompt, so don't you worry about quality or anything. It's summer camp. Not a lot of these articles are going to be finished to begin with. So yeah. I will begin with, I don't know. In that case, I will send you mine, and you can decide if it's quality for yourself. Well, listen, I'm sure it's quality. I'm sure it's quality. Is my potentially too long entry on your list? It is! Any particular category of summer camp you prefer? Well, I'm reading articles from my sponsored prompt. So if you created an article for a venerated historical figure, then you can send that to me, and I will gladly read it on stream. If you would like feedback, you can also let me know. If not, I will just make like my little offhand comments as I read things, as I find things interesting. But otherwise, we can get started on some of these readings. You're more than welcome to send them to me on Discord, or you can just put them in the chat directly. Links are okay in this chat. You're not gonna get like yelled at by any bots or anything. But yeah, so we're gonna bring out the magical where is it? The dice of fate. The dice of fate we shall roll to see who goes first, because we have 3 articles already on the list, and we will just add more as they come. So we have this D4. Beautiful little yellow D4. We have 3, so we're just gonna see. And our number today is 3. Oh. So let's do, here we go. Hoth Powellville, Crafton the First. My first prompt ended up being like 2K words long. That's fine. We are starting off the day with a very long article, so don't you worry about it. This will give you all plenty of time to decide if you want an article reading today. Hello. All right, so is reading challenge 9 random articles or 3 categories of 3 articles? So the reading challenge, you do pick 3 different prompts, and then you pick 3 different articles from each of those. So pick different authors from each if you can, and just try to keep things a little varied. But here you go. Here's the link to the article we're about to go check out. And of course, while we are reading these articles, I will always say, drop some likes, drop some comments if you are really interested in what we're reading. It always makes the authors very happy to know that people are looking at their work and saying nice things about them. So, yeah. But here we go. It's our first article of the day. Oh, this is your submission. I will put it on my list. Yes, this. Thanks, it was confusing. Oh, no problem. Here we go. Visionary entrepreneur and founder of the Crafton Cove. Hoth Powellville Crafton I, often revered as one of the most influential historical figures in the Cray Providence, was a visionary entrepreneur and the esteemed founder of Crafton Cove. Born into a lineage of Crayvuk worshippers, Hoth inherited a deep devotion to his faith, coupled with an unparalleled entrepreneurial spirit which would shape the course of his life and leave an indelible mark on the region. I was commissioned originally by Crafton himself to paint a mural inside the city center. He stood there, pointing out intricate details, his metallic hand catching the light. His understanding of aesthetics, of light and shadow, astounded me. He was an engineer, a visionary, but had an artist's soul. Soon our arguments turned into musings, and soon we were discussing a massive monument. Karatar Thraxor, renowned artist of the Cove. From humble beginnings, Hoth embarked on a remarkable journey of innovation and progress. Building upon his father's modest shipping venture, he transformed Craft & Co. shipbuilding into a renowned shipbuilding enterprise, revolutionizing transportation and trade in the area. But Hoth's ambitions reached far beyond shipbuilding. He sought to create a thriving city that would reflect the grandeur of Krayvik's teachings and serve as a beacon for progress for generations to come. Crafton Cove, nestled on the breathtaking Gazing Eye Plateau, became the embodiment of Hoth's visionary ideals. With Crafton Manor, his residence and epicenter of his entrepreneurial operations, overlooking a picturesque lakeside waterfall, the city flourished under his careful guidance. The strategic positioning of Crafton Cove, combined with Hoth's astute business acumen, fueled its rapid growth, attracting settlers, artisans, and thinkers from far and wide. But Hoth's contributions extended beyond the realm of commerce. A firm believer in the power of art and culture, he fostered close ties with the renowned Githyanki artist Karatar. Their initial encounters were marked by conflict and disagreement, but through their shared commitment to progress, they forged a deep friendship that would shape the destiny of Crafton Cove. Together, they created monumental artworks and architectural marvels that still stand as testaments to their enduring camaraderie. Hoth's legacy is not confined to the realm of business and art. His profound devotion to Krayvik led him on a path of exploration and discovery, unearthing the mysteries of Kraykatsate crystals and magnetic ore/metal mixtures. These breakthroughs revolutionized technological advancements, enabling the development of gravity manipulation systems, innovative ship hull designs, and the pioneering Skyhook program initiated by his great-great-granddaughter, Kryteza. On who new has come in, BFairy74, thank you very much for following. Let's see, even in his personal life, Hoth Palvile Crafton I embodied the spirit of innovation. He embraced scientific advancements and augmentations, using Kraykatsate-powered limbs and exploring the possibilities of crystal-based elixirs and rituals to maintain his own vitality and longevity. Today, Hoth Palvile Crafton I is venerated and as a revered historical figure, celebrated for his entrepreneurial vision, unwavering faith, and profound contributions to the prosperity and cultural richness of Crafton Cove. His legacy endures, inspiring future generations to embrace the teachings of Krayvik and strive for progress, innovation, and the pursuit of knowledge. So this already is a pretty cool character. We love a good character who's all about the innovation, all about discovery, all about making things. And it's really fun to delve not only into what they make and what they do, but also the connections they form along the way. So the characters that they're connected to, the people that they influence. It's always fun to see, because it's very rare for a character in any world to just not be connected to anyone else. To not have other connections, not have other influences on people within the world. So I do love me a good character article that mentions other people and just the different things. And I was also informed of a very interesting feature on this article, where if you click in the sidebar here, there's a little link here that says Speak Stranger with one of the brightest minds of our age. And this actually takes you to like an AI chat box, pretty much. And you can like talk with this character. And apparently he knows like all kinds of lore about the world, and it's really interesting. It's something I might have to consider trying at some point. Oh, we're gonna do a little bit of skimming on this article because I did see it as like a very, very long article. Ali Alexis Ghostwriter, thank you for following as well. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we have 8 categories here. So let's we're gonna roll a d8 actually. We're gonna do a couple of these. So I don't know, we got 1, 2, 7, 8. Sure. So where are we? We'll do, yeah, first 2, last 2. Hi, welcome. So yes, the early life and family legacy. Born into a devout Krayvik worshipping family, Hoth Palvile Crafton I was the sole offspring of his hermaphroditic parent, Siafield. Inheriting both business acumen and spiritual devotion from Siafield, Hoth's life was shaped by his parents' entrepreneurial spirit, which was exemplified by their prudent investment in a small bridge at Kray's Pass. The bridge served as a vital function, allowing travelers to have a significant 3 days journey around Rivers Canyon. This vital passageway bridged the Livia province in the northern hemisphere through the equator down to the Cray province. Realizing the potential in this transit hub, Sciafield continuously expanded the bridge to accommodate larger vehicles, effectively evolving it from a humble bridge to a thriving thoroughfare. As a young man, Hoth worked at various jobs at the bridge, from collecting tolls to cleaning duties, eventually moving on to driving wagons for his parents' burgeoning enterprise. A notable event occurred during one of his night journeys through the jungle near the tallest plateau of the coast. The area was struck by a Cyrate tear, a massive comet that created an awe-inspiring spectacle and drastically transformed the landscape. In the weeks following the comet's strike, Hoth returned to the area to find it dramatically altered. What once was barren plateau had become a vibrant and lush paradise with flourishing vegetation and cascading waterfalls. The transformation sparked an idea in Hoth. This burgeoning oasis held potential for more than just a trading post. After a year of discussions with Sciafield, the decision was made to establish the Crafton Cove trading port. Within 5 years, a humble shanty town had evolved into a bustling settlement at the base of the plateau, which would later become the vibrant Marina Fish City. 10 years on, a town had emerged around the largest lake and the second highest platform of the plateau. The second monumental structure to be built in this burgeoning town was the Crafton Church of Crayvook. This cathedral, built to honor the deity Crayvook, also served as the funeral site for Hoth's parent, Sciafield. The grandeur of the church reflected Hoth's vision for the town, which he envisaged evolving into a thriving city. With the passing of Sciafield, Hoth assumed full control of the Crafton Trading Co. The family business continued to thrive under his stewardship, with substantial earnings from the bridge, shipping, and now the trading post at Crafton Cove. As the Crafton fortune grew, so did the settlement, setting the stage for Hoth's future success and the establishment of the Crafton legacy. So we got a business mind here, very cool. I do find it also interesting how this was the sole offspring of one parent, which is pretty cool. It's fun to see the different ways that different species and like different like forms of like, you know, humanoids, human races, things, their different biologies, the different ways that they work. All right, Crafton Co. Shipbuilding. Inheriting a thriving trade and shipping business from his parent Sciafield, Hoth Powell Crafton I saw an opportunity for expansion. He possessed a natural aptitude for mechanical systems, cultivated from his early years of maintaining and repairing the complex machinery of the family-owned bridge and wagons. When Crafton Cove's marina and shipbuilding port began to take shape, Hoth's curiosity was piqued as he ventured into the field of shipbuilding. The entrepreneurial Hoth initiated mining operations in this expansive mid-section of the Gazing Eye Plateau, which led to the monumentous discovery of cracatizate, a highly magnetic metal ore intertwined with crystals. The unique properties of this material were unlike anything known at the time, offering a blend of strength and lightness that was ideal for ship construction. The discovery of cracatizate spurred a revolution in engineering, allowing Hoth to design advanced carts, trolleys, and elevators that could leverage gravity-defying qualities of the metal. By employing cracatizate in shipbuilding, he was able to create vessels with significantly lighter yet stronger hulls, a development that had a transformative impact on naval architecture. In a groundbreaking move, Hoth's experimentation with cracatizate led to the invention of gravity engines, opening up entirely new possibilities in transportation. These engines harnessed the magnetic properties of cracatizate to create a repelling force against the planet's gravity, making flight a reality. With the advent of gravity engines, airships became feasible, marking the birth of a new era in transportation and trade. We're going to do a tiny little bit of skimming, because again, this article is quite long. I will read it like personally, fully later on, and I welcome all of you to as well. I would just like to give plenty of time to other people who would like their articles read. So we said we do 1 and 2. That was 1 and 2. If we do the last two now, 7 and 8. Let's see, because this is more about his actual legacy. So let's see, why are we venerating this character? The Shimmer, a legacy of knowledge and innovation. I appreciate it. Why, thank you, of course. Listen, if you're gonna submit work to my prompt, I'm gonna read it. That's just how it goes. One of the most remarkable contributions attributed to Hoth Powell Crafton I is his involvement in the invention of the Shimmer, a groundbreaking procedure that harnesses the power of cracatizate to preserve and utilize the knowledge contained within a deceased individual's brain. This revolutionary invention combines Elixir's scientific advancements and the principles of Kravok's teachings to create a means of archiving and sharing memories and knowledge. Driven by his insatiable thirst for knowledge and a desire to leave a lasting legacy, Hoth embarked on a quest to perfect this remarkable technique. The process involves carefully extracting the brain from a donor body, ensuring that all proper last rites are observed, then subjecting it to a series of intricate procedures. These procedures, enhanced by the properties of cricatizate and the elixirs developed through meticulous research, create a preserved brain that can act as a vast repository for information and wisdom. While the concept of the shimmer may seem ethically complex, Hoth was a staunch believer in the power of science and the pursuit of knowledge. He saw the utilization of willing donor bodies as a noble sacrifice, aligning with the teachers of Kravok and of reverence for the advancement of science and the Church. With the consent and dedication of those who believed the cause, the procedure allowed individuals to transcend death and become a source of knowledge, continuing to contribute to the world even in their posthumous state. The shimmer, however, is not without its limitations. The procedure does not replicate the complete essence of the original person. It captures memories, knowledge, and fragments of personality, but lacks the intricate complexities and nuances that make a person who they truly are. The preserved brain serves as a reference, a source of information and guidance, but cannot fully replicate the consciousness and experiences of the deceased individual. Despite these limitations, the shimmer stands as a testament to Hoth's relentless pursuit of knowledge and his commitment to advancing the frontiers of science. By perfecting this remarkable technique, he sought to ensure that his own vast reservoir of knowledge and wisdom would be preserved, benefiting future generations and serving as a profound resource for the Cray Providence. Today, the shimmer remains a cherished legacy of Hoth Powell Crafton I, embodying his belief in the power of innovation, science, and the eternal quest for knowledge. It stands as a remarkable testament to the potential of combining the principles of Kravok's teachings with the advancements of the modern world, leaving an enduring mark on the history of Crafton Cove, and the Cray Providence as a whole. And lastly, the legacy. Tonight I find myself reflecting on the importance of connection. It was a mere coincidence that Karatar and I crossed paths, yet our shared vision brought life to the gazing eye. Now, standing tall, it silently watches over our city, reminding us that unity, collaboration, and understanding transcend petty squabbles. It is my hope that its presence will continue to inspire peace and solidarity in future generations. The legacy of Hoth Powell Crafton I is one of monumental scale, with impacts felt not only in Crafton Cove but throughout the entire Cray Providence. His life and achievements continue to inspire, guiding the way for future generations of thinkers, inventors, leaders, and citizens. Crafton Cove, the city he poured his heart and soul into, is a testament to his ingenious mind and an unyielding resolve. It is a metropolis brought to life by his relentless innovation, detailed planning, and devotion to community. From the advanced transportation system, featuring the revolutionary elevation trolleys and magnetic roads, to the intricate architecture and artwork that line the city's streets and buildings, Hoth's influence permeates every corner of the city. His legacy of scientific advancement lives on in the cricatizate crystal technologies he developed. These innovations transformed the way people lived, communicated, and traveled. Hoth's development of augmented limbs powered by cricatizate crystals ushered in a new era of medical technology, forever changing the lives of those living with disabilities. His exploration of the heart of Kravok and the harnessing of its immense energy brought new understanding and capabilities to the Providence. Furthermore, Hoth's civic contributions remain an indelible part of the city's history. His role in the establishment of the ruling system of Crafton Cove, particularly his collaboration with other founding families, cemented his influence in the city's governance. His friendship with the Githyanki artist Karatar and their subsequent creation of the Gazing Eye are iconic symbols of this partnership. However, this legacy is not without complexities. Hoth's indifference and growing bigotry towards the humans, while regrettable, served as an important lesson for future generations, reminding them of the dangers of prejudice and the importance of unity in diversity. Hoth Powellville's Crafton I's legacy is one of endurance, ingenuity, and transformative progress woven into the very fabric of Crafton Cove. His unwavering faith in Kravok teachings continue to inspire, reminding everyone of the importance of exploration, curiosity, and resilience. While he may have passed on, his spirit endures, alive in the city he loved and the people he inspired. Very cool, a very cool legacy and a very cool lifetime. A lot of really cool innovations. This is a really cool article. This article is like super in-depth, really interesting to read. I will say, it is quite long. And I feel like there are some parts where maybe a little branching off into a separate article might be pretty useful. I feel like we got a lot of information about the settlements that he made and like how these settlements were built up and how these settlements came to be, what these settlements include, the innovations that form these settlements. I feel like a lot of that information should be in the article for that settlement. However, I'm also not particularly opposed to a long character article. However, still an awesome read. Still excited to have it. And I will once again share the link to this for anyone who missed it.
Refresh yourselves.
And yes, it is time for post-article sippies. City article is a work in progress. Couldn't do it for SummerCamp because I couldn't edit then.
Refresh
Yeah, of course,
yourselves.
no problem. Oh, thank you for the sippies. Yeah, I mean, once again, awesome article. There's so much awesome information to learn about this character, and like, it is very clear. It's very clear what kind of impact this character had and why people like look to this character as a revered figure. I'm so nervous. I accidentally typed yes several times in chat as I work through my own articles and fill out the spreadsheet. That's fine. If you just drop in here every once in a while with just like a yes, that'll just make me feel like you really approve of what's going on the stream right now. So don't you worry. Let's see. We can get this author page out of here. So let's see. We're just gonna move this here. I'm gonna add this other article. See, we have another venerated character that's just on the list. Yeah, because I have looked at all of these articles before already. Like, every single one of these articles has already been, like, peeped upon by me. And so all of you sending me articles, I keep opening the links and I'm like, oh yes, I remember this article. I was great hearing it in someone else's voice too, helped with pacing. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the best thing about having live reads of your articles is just like you get to hear the way someone else reads it. You get to hear how your article is paced, how your writing flows, where people's eyes get drawn to, you know, things like that. And so usually if I see people doing article reads, I'll try to come in and get my article read, but I'm also just never available when people are doing article reads, which is really unfortunate. Like, they're always doing them either like while I'm at work or while I'm asleep. Because, you know, time zones. That's just how it goes, right? That's just life. But alright, the D4 of truth shall speak. And we shall have article number 3 on the list. Let's see, hold on, where? 1, 2. You. Because you are the 3rd on the list. So here we go. We have Tinker Techie. I always put commas in the wrong places. Oh no. Totally fair, totally understandable. Yeah, the period between the end of SummerCamp and the like awards ceremony, you know, like the entire period you can't edit through, is always just this delightful time where you look at your articles and think, ooh, there is one typo and it's looking me directly in the face and I can't do anything about it. And so I know I'm not the only person. Who has that struggle right now. Let's see where my button's at. Okay, here we go. Here's the next article on our list. Make sure to give it a like, make sure to give it some comments once you've given it a read through. But we will begin reading it ourselves right now. That's why considering grammar gets thrown out my judging. We've all missed a comma. Yeah, exactly. Like, if I see a missed comma, if I see something spelled weird, I'm like, moving on. We continue reading, because that doesn't really matter. The best way to prevent that from happening is don't look at your SummerCamp articles until after the ceremony. Oh, true? Listen, Shadow Phoenix is out here with the, like, the pro strategy. Just don't look at it. Just don't look at it and you won't see any issues with it. And honestly, I should do that. I absolutely should. I left a sentence hanging. I finished it in my head but didn't in the article. Yeah, the writing process is a delight sometimes when you're on a little time crunch, right? Let's see what we got here. King Ignatius IV. Or is it Ignatius? I'll say Ignatius. Name, history, race, creed. Any man of the mortal lands would tell you that one of the most prominent rulers in history was King Ignatius IV, leader of the Aegis Kingdom at the time of its fall. Despite this rather unfortunate circumstance, none today hold the king responsible for the kingdom's ruin. History, though, often tells a different tale. Hey Tillers, what up? Coming here with the duck nerd emo? How's it hanging? How's it quacking? Divine appointment. King Ignatius, as held in history by both the Abaisi and the Church of the Creator, was specially appointed by the Creator to lead Asia, or rather, that which was left of it after the kingdom had split into two many decades before. His early military campaigns can certainly attest to this, as wave after wave of invading armies fell beneath his sword. Naturally, this caused no small amount of jealousy from the then currently reigning king and his father, Barnabas II. A close call with the betrayal sent Ignatius into hiding for several years, defending the kingdom from the outskirts. Eventually, though, Barnabas II perished in battle. Ignatius returned in triumph to take the throne and steered Asia to a new age of prosperity. Pretty cool. So let's see what we got here in this little sidebar. Ethnicity, age, circumstances of death, place of death, sex, aligned organization, ruled organizations, and the lost flock of King Ignatius. Perhaps the most prominent myth surrounding the legendary king, aside from his rule and demise, is the flock of Ignatius IV. Supposedly created to denote the next line of 16 children, the flock was lost to history when Asia fell. Numerous copies and hoaxes have arisen, but none have been able to prove even plausible of being an authentic article. Flowering kingdom, crumbling soil. With King Ignatius' guidance, Asia began to truly flourish, and new trade routes were established with neighboring kingdoms, ensuring peace over war. The fields flourished, and the Abaisi began to know peace once more, watching over the source that stood in their kingdom's capital with contentment. While their sister kingdom in the north had long since disintegrated into factions and wandering tribes after years of invasions, Asia began to prosper under the guidance of the king and the protection of the Creator. But not everything in the king's rule is perfect. King Ignatius, despite being explicitly warned about his inevitable folly by both the high priest and the Creator himself, was wont to wander from his betrothed. Soon a total of 16 children were running around the palace, with a small palace of its own needed to house the many wives and concubines he had taken. This left the line of succession in great disarray, to say the least. Also of note is that, despite being divinely appointed, King Ignatius began to drift and worship false gods and idols, influenced by the very concubines he had been warned not to take. Recently, historians have found evidence suggesting that Kellar, trusted advisor of the king, was dabbling in dark and corrupted magic. While this investigation is still underway, it would do much to explain the rapid decline of the kingdom after its fall, and perhaps even the rise of wizards. Leave it to the wizards to bring a kingdom to ruin, right? That cursed dark magic, always causing problems. So rise, so fall. King Ignatius' reign ended as spectacularly as it began, that is, if one considers being instantly immolated by fire and ash spectacular. It could be pretty spectacular, depending on how you look at it. Fireworks are beautiful until you become one. Still beautiful to watch, though. The fall of Asia was swift and merciless, taking the capital down to the very depths of the infernal realms, if the poets are to be believed. It is held in the Abaisi culture that merciless destruction was an act from the Creator, calling his people back to his side once more. And none were present within the city that survived. As none were present within the city that survived, there are no records of the king's final moments. Still, his influence in bolstering and guiding a stricken and weakened Asia had led his rule to be a sort of golden age for the Abaisi, especially in contrast to the centuries under persecution that were to follow. So yeah, it's a pretty cool article about a pretty cool king. Seeing how the greats rise to power and then just craft a crumbling life for themselves through various decisions that they made. It's always interesting to see. You have to be careful who you trust. You have to be careful who you take advice from. When you can't even trust your own advisors and your own concubines, it's always a tough one. But when you take partners so carelessly, bad things are about to happen. As we have finished this article, here is one more link for you all. Please enjoy, give some likes, give some comments. Let everyone know what you think of this wonderful work that we've just read. Let's see. This is my long one. Ooh. Listen, we love a good long article. I'll take my sip. Oh, there's a lot more I'm going to add once the judging embargo lifts. Oh, heck yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I cannot wait until I'm able to edit my own articles again. I have lots. I don't know. Okay, I don't know immediately how much I'm actually going to edit and how much I'm going to get done just in a short term. But there's a lot of information that I feel I've left out of my summer camp articles, you know, in the interest of time and just how much of my brain I actually had available to me throughout the month of July. It's a toughie, you know? Sometimes you just gotta manage. See, I chose him more because I had a lot of references to him that needed an anchor point, and not that I had a ton of ideas for the man himself. That is fair. That is absolutely fair. I actually have an article that I'm working on right now that is not summer camp related. That's basically the same. I have a lot of connections to this person, just all scattered all throughout my articles, throughout my world, and like, she needs an article. And so I'm working on it right now. Who knows when I'll finish? Who knows when I'll actually get around to it? Of course, I'm very busy with the reading challenge. I'm very busy with judging these articles. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see when my schedule opens up. I'll be able to handle some of that. But all right. This link that was just sent to me, I will add it to my collection of tabs. We're gonna see it pop up for a minute. Hold on, we're gonna move these around in order that I actually got them. Okay, cool. The D4 of Truth must now once again show us who we are going to be reading. Article number 4. Actually, we're getting the one that was just sent to us. Wahaha. This long article. So once again, we may do some skimming here and there, just depending on... oh boy. Don't you oh boy. There's nothing to worry about. Of course, the link is still very fresh in the chat, so it is right there. If you click on the link from Terry and Calling, that is the article. It has sections so you can jump around, heck yes. So yeah. So this is Saisia Sangvi. Cool. She who killed her master and gave the slaves power. Didn't expect it to be first. Well, listen, the dice of fate. The dice of fate have decided. When is the secret article about ducks being finished? Listen, in honor of Tillers, I have to make a duck god. I'll have to make a duck god. God of ducks, maybe the duck is a god, who knows? Hold on, I need to send a message. Alright. So, who was Saisia? Saisia Sangvi was a slave, born on Strana during the first dozen cycles after what would eventually become known as the Great Collapse began. She grew up carrying the name of her parents' master. On the opposite side of the cluster from it, the war with Bane Arleth and his forces was a faraway thing that never touched the planet, but it was an inspiration for things that could change and change quickly. During her youth and early years as a slave, however, Saisia showed none of the signs that would mark her as a rebellious slave. She was polite, quiet, and obedient, all of the things that an owner and merchant looked for in a product. Let's see, the last master. Everything changed in 3221 AFT when Saisia was sold to her last master, Camden Harcrow, who was a powerful merchant and owned a lush property called Cald, south of the Clacaster Forest. It was well known on Strana and elsewhere that in the Jordani system that Harcrow was a harsh, brutal master, and that slaves who served under him were not treated well. Being sold off by him to work in a terminus colony in the nearby Volantis system or shipped off somewhere else in the cluster was well known to be a far kinder fate than being chosen to serve directly under his hand. The darkest rumors that followed him were slaves purchased to serve in his house and not his fields were more likely to be seen again in a coffin than alive. Such behavior was frowned upon and encouraged against, but few things were ever done against. Not even a week into her service in his home, Sycia disappeared. Camden Harker was discovered dead 3 days after her disappearance. With his pants around his ankles and his face beaten in so severely, the only way to identify him was by a tattoo on his arm. So, but that's pretty brutal. That's pretty brutal, but it sounds like someone got their revenge. Let's see, the rise of the revolt. Despite attempts by Astronautan authorities to keep the exact details of the crime quiet, word traveled quickly through the slave population on planet. A slave killing their owners was such a foreign concept on Strana, even amongst those who were treated cruelly. It just simply wasn't done. After Sycia's story spread amongst them, however, it became more common. You mean sippies here? Supposed sightings of her popped up constantly around the planet, and a slew of other slaves either attacked or killed in their own homes. Most often, the most cruel and brutal of them. Some managed to also disappear, but others were captured quickly and publicly executed as an example against further incitement. However, given the already volatile atmosphere that gripped the entire cluster since the EMPs had fired 8 cycles before in 3213 AFT, these executions actually spurred the slaves into greater action. Given that the digital database of slave records on the planet had been one of the many pieces of technology that had been destroyed, finding Sycia or the others was next to impossible. So she's on the run, they can't find her, and all these uprisings are happening. So that's pretty fun. So let's see, we have the revolt's figurehead. Following that, their first strike, the war for Strana, the fall of Sycia, end of revolt, and in modern times. Oh wait, hold on, I want to see what this says. AKA Saivya Songi and how she oopsied a revolution. I like that. We love a little oopsie revolution. Here we go, the figurehead. After her escape, Sycia knew nothing about what she had caused to happen on Strana. Escaping into a Clawcaster forest, she made her way north, following the base of the spine of the world until she reached Malarmore Wood. Having heard stories being read to her master's son when she was a child, she knew that the wood was dark and deep and a peril for those who weren't prepared for its dangers. Armed with just an old Terran relic of a ballistic pistol, a kitchen knife, and the determination that had allowed her to survive Harko's advances, Sycia was more than prepared. Finding a cave and using skills half remembered from listening to others over the years, she lived in seclusion for a year before she dared venture out. In the town of Deham, one of the ones closest to the wood, she heard about other slaves killing their masters, saw the footage of the executions that were playing on the few vid screens still working. And after the shock passed of realizing what she had unknowingly started, she was furious. Sycia began searching for other escaped slaves, seeking out places where she herself might have hidden in, and eventually did find them. They developed their own secret system of communication, using marks carved or written in corners of other subtle areas to recruit and organize. Ooh. I'm just gonna adjust my little sitting position. Sitting up as much as we can while still being in a weird position. Though the revolt of the slaves is considered to have started in 3221 AFT, the first official recognized action of the revolt didn't happen until 3223 AFT. Using their secret communications, Sycia and her followers organized a mass revolt action across the entire planet, involved not just hundreds or thousands, but millions of slaves. Smaller cities like Dam and Cadena were close to Malarmore Wood. Still, the rural space of operations fell under slave control almost immediately. Other nearby cities also fell to them, but also cities to the west like Fand, to the south like Elixloft, and the east like Grasmere. One of the first places they ever destroyed deliberately was Camden Harcrow's former home of Cald. Sycia and her forces completely destroyed the lush home, buildings, and fields, burning all of it to the ground. Harcrow's widow and children were allowed to escape. Ooh, sippies. Although, she said that their lives were threatened, and it was a fluke that she got out. Cald had practically been a town itself, and Harcrow's cruelty, as well as the cruelty of his widow, turned all the staff as well as the slaves to Saicea's cause. The rich merchants and other high-class inhabitants of Strana weren't willing to give up their lush lives without a fight, however. Although, a lot more of the high-tech weaponry had been rendered obsolete, more ancient weapons such as ballistics and blades were perfectly functional. Some starships and other transportation, such as skimmer bikes and floaters, had escaped the destruction and were put to use during the conflict. So this is pretty fun. We got escaped slave turned revolutionary leader. And now she's just doing all kinds of atrocities. Well, no atrocities, you know. Some deserving. Lots of destruction, lots of hostile takeovers. But the war for Strana. War ended up being the only name that could truly be applied to the conflict. She's just having a great time. Exactly. She's just having, you know, just like girl activities, you know? Several cities had buildings destroyed utterly during the cycles between the first true strike in 3223 AFT and 3227 AFT, and several were destroyed entirely. Elexloft and Freipool in the southwest were completely destroyed by massive homemade bombs in 3227 AFT, killing the slaves who were holding the cities and civilians alike. This action turned civilians who were in the middle class on the planet against the higher class, sparking protests that sowed further confusion. Saicea knew that her forces needed somewhere safer to organize than Strana itself, and, using still working starships that they had commandeered, began shuttling portions of her followers to the nearby Warenge. They attempted to set up a new base of operations on the planet, but the flora and fauna proved to be especially violent. Despite this, they persisted and managed to establish a base and start to organize greater and greater strikes against the higher class on Strana. The richest families on Strana raised the bounty on Saicea's head to an almost astronomical number, more money than a slave could ever dream of, in retaliation. They also, upon learning she was personally organizing the revolt from Warenge, began gathering their own forces to go after her. In the end, Saicea's Songvi was betrayed. A fellow slave, lured by the exorbitant price that had been placed on her head, went to the rich families and gave them the information they would need to strike out at the base of Warenge. While his name had been lost to time, spoken only now as the traitor, while spitting on the ground, his ultimate fate was not. After the betrayal, he was found brutally beaten and unrecognizable, except the clothes he had been wearing. An echo of Saicea had killed her last master. The richest families of Strana sent everything after Saicea and her forces on Warenge, outnumbering them at nearly 300,000 attackers to a mere 5,000 defenders on the planet. However, she and others withstood the assault for almost 6 whole days, thanks to the layout of their defenses, and killed half the force. Saicea was given a chance to surrender but refused, running on foot to meet her enemy at the end with less than 1,000 able followers left behind her. When she fell, she was found to be carrying only 2 weapons, an old Terran ballistic pistol with Harcrow engraved on the barrel and a kitchen knife. Her death was recorded and broadcast across all working vid screens across Strana, but it did not end the revolt. If anything, watching the figurehead of their rebellion die at the hands of those who had ruled over them for generation after generation drove Saicea's followers even deeper into their revolt. They took over the major port cities of Krosted, Annenberg, and Orleans, giving them almost total control over the southern part of Strana. And the end of the revolt. After further protests were sparked, when a rich merchant orchestrated the destruction of Annenberg, killing slaves and civilians that had been done in 3227 AFT with Ixaloft and Freipool, the Stranan government, Mays Claycaster, threw up the white flag. He declared that enough lives had been lost to this foolishness and asked the rich and slaves alike to set aside their weapons. Mason invited all parties to come to the table to figure out together how to move forward. Saicea's second-in-command, Mr. Griant, another former slave and, according to rumors, her lover, came personally to meet that the governor had organized, and was part of every bit of the process. While he could not say in the end what came out of it, that what came out of it would have been what Saicea would have wanted, he did say that the caste system would be better. It would not only allow slaves to rise up above their station, but they would be protected from having anything happen to them, like what Saicea had escaped. But those before her had not. And Paper Boat Writing, thank you for following. Although he was given a position in a new high caste if he wanted it, Rista refused, and ended up leaving Strana a few years later while still working, on a still working airship, along with several others from the revolt, including a young child that rumors theorized was his child with Saicea. If that was ever true, no one knows, as records of Rister, the ship, and the child were lost during the chaos of post-collapse. And in modern times, 600 cycles after her death, Saisia Sangvi's story remains strong on Strana, told to children of every caste. She's practically a saint to the upper-lower slave castes, though some question why slavery was not abolished in its entirety after her forces seemingly won the conflict. There is a statue of her in Claycaster built by Governor Mace Claycaster after the end of the revolt. A second statue, funded by a mysteriously large donation that some believe was the money given to Traitor and taken off his dead body, stands in front of the ruins of the base that she defended and died for on what is now Saisia's stand. While the former is made of gold and has her standing upright with her hands reaching outward as if pleadingly, depicts a view of her that was a lie according to her contemporaries. The latter is more truthful. Built of iron mined out of the core of the spine of the world is Saisia running forward, fury on her frozen features, with an ancient pistol in one hand and a kitchen knife in the other. I must sneak away, but you all have a wonderful afternoon. You as well. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for letting me read your article today. And likewise, thank you, Tarian, for allowing me to read your article. It's a cool article about a badass character. Led a whole revolution.
Refresh yourselves.
Thank you for the sippy. I was prepared, holding my mug. Oh, pretty cool. I love the I love that difference at the end and like the final new mug. Kind of a little bit new. I just haven't used it on stream in a while. But yes, I love in this final paragraph the difference between the two different ways that she was depicted in the different statues that were erected of her. Really showing just how different perspectives on the same person can be like bent and melded. Because clearly this leader wanted her to be seen as kind of like a, I don't know, less strong, less badass, less driven. And the iron statue shows her exactly as she is, fierce, running head first into danger. Just like, ready to die for her cause, and she did die for her cause. And yes, so the many different ways people are remembered. So once again, here's that link for everyone who missed it. Once again, likes, comments, happy thoughts, things you want to know more about, things you... I die for my cause all the time. As you should. It's very important. So let's see where we're going. The die has rolled 1. And so our next reading shall be indeed... this article from ECC Books. I'll take another sip in my preparations. So here is the link to our next article. ECC Books, that's me, that's you. It's you right there. Yeah, I got to hang out with ECC Books once again at the New York meetup, which was really fun. We actually got to like exchange a couple words this time, which is really good. And I felt like I personally was being just so awkward at the meetup. I like barely talked to anybody. I don't know, I guess I was just like hot and tired and a little frazzled, I guess. But that's just how it goes. It would be awesome to have like more opportunities to like meet and hang out with people when we're not like in a rush to catch the subway and get to places. Yes, was not you being awkward. Maybe a little bit of both. Now I'm being awkward. We're both being awkward. This is the space to be awkward together. Here we go. We have Kester Thedos. Here we go. Kester Thedos was a noted Bekispakon. I'm gonna say that's maybe how you pronounce that. Bekispakon general during the First Age in Eden. After completing her own 9 years of mandatory military service, she took it to a mere 2 years off to bear and began raising a child. But after those 2 years were done, Thedos re-enlisted to spare her daughter from the horrors of war. When she died during the Battle of Frankfurt Bridge, Kester Thedos was just 1 day from completing her second tour of duty, just one day from returning to Nova Mascara and the loving embrace of the girl she'd sacrificed so much to protect. The Bikini Warriors of old! Oh, is that who these are? You handle these conlings like a champ. I try my best. I really try my best. If you ever just see me stop and squint at a word as I'm reading, that's me trying to do the math in my brain of okay, how am I pronouncing this? But we do our best out here. Theodos's book, The Art of Adaptive Warfare, remains required reading at military academies across Eden to this day. It was a favorite of Abraham the Honest, who quoted liberally from the text during the speech he gave at the end of the Nunnian Civil War. I'm getting ever more versed in ECC lore. Very good. Appearance and personality. Kester Thedos was a powerfully built woman with a particularly well-defined upper body. Her muscular arms, broad shoulders, and strong sculptured back were the envy of many of her fellow Bekispicon. There's nothing to say of her. This is to say nothing of her shredded abs, nor the sturdy lower body she made for herself by never skipping leg day. Very important. You did correct pronunciation on the ones from mine, just note. Heck yes. Yes, we're so good at this. Yeah, no one skip leg day, and also no one skip conlang day. Two important things. She kept her naturally black hair short, never longer than chin length, and embellished it with streaks of magenta, her favorite color. Personality-wise, she was thoughtful but decisive leader. Though slow to anger, her unbridled fury was a force to be reckoned with, and never was she more prone to irritability than when her orders were disobeyed. Thedos saw herself as the mother of her young nation of Bekispicon refugees, and saw it as her sacred duty to keep her countrymen safe. Because she was so careful and so considerate of differing opinions during her decision-making process, she considered disobedience, especially on the battlefield, the most grievous injury someone could inflict upon her. At home and during times of peace, she was a restless soul. Though she loved her daughter and the members of the triad she left behind to re-enlist, Kester Thedos knew herself as a warrior in a way that she never did as a citizen. Don't do conlang day on the same day as leg day. I think you could do both. I think you could do both on the same day. Little brain workout and leg workout. Why not, right? Let's see. Early life in the biography. Kester Thedos was born in the Empire of Mascara in the latter days of the Earth's 665 iteration of reality. She grew up along the banks of what we in the real world call the Vilnia River, on land that is held in our world by the Republic of Lithuania. The most notable thing about her early life is that she grew up an only child and an orphan, two extremely rare occurrences in the Bekispicon society. All three of the women she called mother had struggled with infertility, including the one who gave birth to her. And then, when she was 10, the calamity struck and her universe came to an end. But though young Kester survived and did not find herself in the purgatorial paradise of Eden, her mothers did not. Though many triads offered to take her in and add her to their own broods, young Kester was determined to make it on her own, and that's just what she did until she came of age. By the time she was ready to begin her military service, she'd read every book on warfare in the Edenian Athenaeum, and mastered every weapon available in the armory at the new Bekispicon stronghold of Nova Mascara. Adulthood. At age 18, Kester Thedos enlisted, formed her first triad, and went off to war. Together with her dwarven allies, Thedos' generation of Bekispicon helped tame the untamed east of Eden and establish the Democratic Republic of the Reek. When the monster hordes emerged in the south, they helped the other peoples of Eden to keep them contained. And then, after 9 years of fighting, Kester Thedos' time in service was done, or so she thought. Though she was lucky enough to get pregnant on her first visit to the barracks, and lucky enough to give birth to a healthy baby girl, her luck lasted not but 2 years. In the year 20 CE, history repeated itself in the worst way imaginable. Kester's parents, both of them pregnant with their first children, were killed in an attack by the hordes on Nova Mascara. Only Kester and her daughter survived. Driven both by a thirst for vengeance and a desire to spare her daughter from having to serve when she came of age, Kester Thedos re-enlisted and spent the next 8 years, 11 months, and 30 days doing two things: fighting the hordes whenever they did roam, and distilling her nearly 40 years of knowledge and experience into the manuscript that would become The Art of Adaptive Warfare. During the Battle of Frankfurt Bridge, as a mind-controlled Kindalian monster strangled the last breaths from her body, the last thing on Kester Thedos' mind was that her daughter would owe only 1 day of service to their country. She had done what she set out to do, and she could rest. Little did she know that an accidental slight by her daughter's foster parents would lead to an eventful life of young Aisling anyway. But that story of halfling witches and spinning wheels and a 100-year sleep is for another time. And indeed it is for another time, because this is the end of the article. So this is cool. We love a story about a dedicated and determined mother. And it's very sweet that she did all the military service required for her daughter, so she only had 1 day to serve. Unlikely that you would even see any facet of war in just 1 day of service. You'd have 1 evening in boot camp and then they'd send you home. At least I assume that's how that would work. So yeah, this is really cool. This is a really cool article. Absolute buff monster of a military mama. Lots of fun. It's cool that she, like, not only did all the service, but she was like, hey, I'm going to protect my daughter from this, and I'm going to write books about the art of warfare to help make sure that all others after her know how to do and how to handle themselves on the battlefield. Very fun. We love a cool leader that wants to make sure everyone after her is successful and safe. Very sad about her family. And if I read correctly, not only once but twice was her family just like decimated. We inflict such awful things on our characters, don't we? Speaking as a LARPer, I know exactly how that is. We do absolutely terrible, unspeakable things to our characters, and then afterwards we're like, "Ooh, did you see that? My character was like so broken on the floor, dying, dude. That was so funny." Like, buddy, we can't be doing this to ourselves. Yeah, I'm mean to my characters. Yeah, exactly. Certainly not a bad thing. Makes for some interesting reading. So, alright, let's see. We have 2 more articles on our list still, so that's pretty fun. Let's see, I know... Yep, guilty. 100%. Let's see, here we are. How about this article right here from Laria? Yeah, the Craftons are horribly racist. It became a thing. Absolutely. Let's see, horribly racist, and then bad things kind of happen. Consequences and all. Oh, take my post-article sippies. Oh, hold on, let's see. We should probably get another little link in here. Wait, what human crime syndicate? Precisely, that's the article we just read. There's a link for everybody. Oh no, that was too late. No, it's okay. That just means you're doubling up. You're making sure I'm extra hydrated. But here's the link to the article we're about to read. So here you go. It's Utena Crystal. Oh, my neck is so crunchy.
Refresh yourselves.
Mosh pit monk with the sippies. Oh, welcome. Thank you. The sippies had. I hope you're enjoying all the readings. I don't know how much you're actually listening right now. I know you're doing stuff. And I'm just still sitting here in the Discord. Oopsie. Here we go. We have another article to read. Utena Crystal. Early years before the drought. I assume contextually that's supposed to be drought. A little distracted today, so I'm just lurking. Very good, very good. We like it. We like it, we love it, we want some more of it. Here we go. She was born in one of the Forsaken settlements, which disappeared after the Killing Sands created the impossible desert. Since there are no records left regarding those settlements, it is impossible to know exactly where they were. Her parents were both old god shamans. Her father dedicated himself to cultivating herbs for both healing and communion, while her mother crafted their learning in drawing for everyday use in exposition. She followed in her mother's steps, creating beautiful drawings from an early age. As part of her training and vocation, she experimented with new pigments and searched for good places to exhibit her larger designs. After the drought. Okay, yes, it is the same word, just spelled differently. Okay. We're not judging those. According to history, after the drought started, her father was struck by the old gods when he was trying to communicate with them. Her mother went crazy and her drawings showed a storm that would kill everything in its path, leaving only dust behind. The gods' message was clear. They were forsaking this area and abandoning anyone here for unknown reasons. She decided to take matters into her own hands. She took some of her father's herbs and confronted the old gods directly. She received only silence from them, but something else arrived in her dreams. An old city lying beyond the mountains, built not by the old gods, but by mortals who could protect them if they dared to abandon their land, their gods, and embrace a new future, free from anything and everyone. The speech. The land is dying, our gods have turned against us, but we will continue. If the gods have forsaken us, we will forsake them and make our own path to the future. The ancestors have left us a path. We will follow it and flourish. Quote from Lieutenant Crystal. Keep finding typos in my summer camp articles. Can't edit. It's tearing me apart. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. We have this little period of torturing ourselves with the typos, but soon, like the end of this month, in like, not to scare anyone, the end of this month is going to come a lot sooner than we think. So you will be able to edit these in time very soon. So worry not. Here we go. When she awoke up from her vision, she started drawing the mortal city and began speaking with the village people. This culminated in an informal speech where she passionately informed them about the situation. They would need to leave this place and the old gods behind, never to return. The gods were forsaking this place and anyone still on it. They were refusing to communicate, killing or driving mad anyone who tried, just like her parents. Death in this land was just a matter of time. But she had been shown an alternative, not by a god, but by an ancestor. A city built by mortals, their ancestors, and how they could use it to protect themselves instead of being dependent on capricious gods. This speech given by the de facto shaman created a violent schism in the village. Some of the village folk, either because they agreed with her words and were inspired by her speech, started preparing for the long journey ahead towards the promised predicted city. They were getting ready to leave everything behind in the hopes of a new future. We don't need the gods anymore. We will make our own land beyond the mountains. Other folk considered her a fraud. Her family was responsible for communicating with the gods and had failed them all. They were responsible for the situation and were trying to run away from their sins. At best, she had become as crazy as her mother and would lead those unfortunate enough to follow her to her godless city to their death. She is as crazy as her mother. She will lead you to gloom and death. The journey. Not much is known about the journey itself, except that it was a perilous odyssey filled with many dangers. Some of these dangers arose even before departing, as some of those who did not believe in Utena's vision tried to boycott and even attack the group. However, Utena Crystal led the group to follow the river up the mountains, and when the Killing Sands finally arrived, destroying the river and everything around it, they were safely out of its path, watching the desolation from afar. Arrival in the city in late years. When they arrived at what would become the capital, Spiralae, they quickly took possession of the central portion of the town. They identified the spirals in the central mountain as an important mechanism worth controlling, so their first settlement started here. Under Utena's guidance, the people started to learn how to study the different mechanisms of the city and how to leverage them for their safety until her death. Her funeral was mourned by all, even those who were not from her tribe, and her tomb is still placed below the current palace, so her wisdom can continue to inspire those who came after her. And there we go. That is the article. So that's really cool. We got the prophecies, we got the destruction, we got the old gods, we have the ancestors.
Refresh yourselves.
On the sippy right on time. Thank you. Oh. So yeah, this is cool. I love to see different different interpretations of the same thing. Like the different interpretations culturally that people have on the same event, on like the same person, on the same anything, really. So one side believes this, another side believes this, and in a lot of ways, both sides are, you know, like they're pretty valid. Because, you know, when you spend your entire life revolving your life around certain gods or certain belief systems, and someone's like, hey y'all, we're gonna abandon all of that because they abandoned us, you're probably gonna look at them and be like, you're bugging. What are you talking about? We're not doing that. There's some articles which describe some of this stuff from a radical different perspective. Heck yes. Yes, we love a different perspective. Because sometimes, like, displaying these different perspectives in your articles can really help inform what a lot of the core thinking is like in your world, just in general. Because seeing the different ways that people disagree, seeing the other things that people think, the way that they respond to the same, like, sets of information, pretty much, can tell you a lot about just general perceptions, how things in this part of the world work. There's so many different things you can just, like, dig up from little disagreements from the people in your world. And those are just mwah, delicious. Chef's kiss. That's how stories turn into folklore, and I'm all about that. Heck yes. Yeah, I know, especially you, like, you're all about the folklore. I think you based your reading challenge around folklore, which is really cool. And to give a lot of context to what happened here, my world is based on Numenera, so there's a lot of old technology which is being misunderstood and malfunctioning all over the place. Very cool. Very cool. Old malfunctioning technology. There's so much you can do with it. So much can happen with old, ancient, like, some working, some not working kind of technology situations. Too bad I didn't write a character article. It's okay. It's okay. There's always more opportunities in the future for, like, article reads and all other kinds of things. So if I can't read an article of yours right now, there's always the future. There's always more opportunities to share, always more opportunities for everything. Yeah. I'm just happy to share these articles with everybody here and read them myself as well. And of course, once I finish all my article readings for today, I will post the list just like I did last time, both in my Discord server and on my WorldAnvil author page. So I'll make like a little journal entry. Let's see, we have one final article on our list for today, and that is Old King Cade by Stormbrill. We love a good Cathedrus article. So here's that link if you would like to read ahead. I'll take a sip in preparation for this article. We already have some cool art here. And so this is Old King Cade, the witness, the silence. It's just him, just Cade, out on that island. He's been there for ages. People rarely ever go there, and once they do, they never stick around for long. Sailor of the Apathian Sea. Or Apathian Sea. There we go. Now we have this little illustration of him sitting on his throne. Very cool. Stormbrill has a cool art style. Now here we go. The old king sits upon a charred throne of wood, barely moving. He's merely 500 meters tall when standing, yet he rests upon his massive seat, bright red skin only half covered by the armor he wears. A broken crown is embedded in one shoulder. His face entirely seared off, forever quieted for the crime of being the sole witness to the planet's first instance of deicide. Cade was once the god of loyalty and solemn silence, speaking only rarely when it mattered. Yet now he sits barely moving, never again uttering another word for the remainder of time. He's never moved from this location of his punishment, the spot in which he first confronted Haon's assassin. He remains nearly motionless upon his ancient burned throne, a 300-meter tall construct built of an entirely unknown wood, witnessing the world around him gradually descend into darkness with his hollow, burnt-out eyes. So he was born on the first day of the 19 days of creation. And for those who aren't aware of the Days of Creation article, I'm just gonna pop it open very briefly for you. Days of Creation. There's some wonderful CSS at play here. We see we have a little book here, and we open the book, and you can read the story at your own leisure, at your own discretion, but I just want you guys to know that that's a thing that exists. So do with that information what you will. And his death was on the 3rd day of the 7-Day War, killed no gods in the 7-Day War, and was killed by Kur after Cade confronted him. The book is great. Yeah, the book was fantastic. I loved it. And Serenity of the First. Cade was the first god to ever come into existence, first to be elevated to the level of the divine, blessed with indescribable power and an immortal body. By definition, he has existed for as long as gods themselves have been a concept. Possibly because of this, when Cade and the rest of the gods still lived, while walking the planet's surface, he was the one god that managed to command the respect of the rest of them. It would not matter which he talked to, all would become quiet when it was Cade's turn to speak. For some, it was a begrudging respect. For others, it seemed like it was natural. None of the other gods really knew where they came from, and it's not clear if Cade ever did either. But his benefit of being the first meant he knew how the others came to be. The information on the subject is murky, unclear as to whether Cade was responsible for creating the rest of the gods, or if he was simply one that brought them together. Texts from the Comprolith seem to state both possible explanations as actual fact, sometimes even within the same book. It is thought that Cade's power over the other gods may have been what kept the planet safe in the early days of creation. He brought them together in a mostly cohesive unit, rather than allowing them to break down to the type of catastrophic infighting not seen until many millennia later with the 7-Day War. Let's see, we got some present-day power, movement. Cade moves, but only slightly. His gaze wanders around the landscape he surveys, and he shifts his arms and legs from time to time, but he never leaves his charred wooden throne. Creation and destruction. The effects that Cade has on his environment are terrible, but not physical. An aura of extreme unease encompasses Cade's island, and it gets worse the closer to Cade you get. Awareness. The stationary god husk appears to always be watching, witnessing his surroundings. However, with no eyes left upon his burnt face, it's not clear if he's aware of anything he sees. And power of the initial gift. One theory gaining traction, especially in the modern-day environment, full of rumors and running rampant, describing a strange legion activity, is that Cade was actually struck by the very first gift from the sky when it impacted with Cathedrus. The idea put forth is that Cade was once a mortal being, belonging to an early version of humanity, when his otherworldly object full of boundless power crashed the planet's atmosphere, striking Cade. Rather than being vaporized on the spot, he instantly ascended from mere mortal to titanic god, and it is thought that this first gift might still be inside him. The gift residing within Cade might even be the artifact that's responsible for his powers, or at the very least, it might be what's responsible for his power over the other gods. For it seems unlikely that a group of immortal beings with near limitless power would ever disobey another of their own, without some other influence compelling them. If there's a gift inside him, if it actually exists, it's likely the most powerful gift of the entire collection. It holds the key to humanity's ascension, the power to command absolute loyalty. It has within it the power to command gods. Quote from Dr. Annabelle Evingston. Scraps from the Comprolith. 7 giant rings of various metals said to be Cade's from long ago. Once, for an unknown reason, he took them off, never to wear the rings again. An ancient map of Cathedrus as it was, with entirely unfamiliar borders drawn, seeming to predate the gods themselves. Most of the geography is utterly incomprehensible, but there's one large, recognizable portion with 2 words able to be translated upon it. Cade's Kingdom. Woohoo. Silenced. Loyalty had rotten, leaving behind naught but unease. On Cade, the history of the first god. Whether through using his abilities too often throughout the years, or because the other gods had grown restrained and wary of it, Cade's power to command loyalty began to wither and eventually rot. For the most part, it seemed as if the degradation of his power did not matter. Things remained stable for so long that it was unlikely to ever change, and then it did. And when Cade attempted to confront the god that had kicked off a new era, using his power to wrestle a confession out of the assassin, he failed. Disquiet and discomfort, an awkward silence, a pregnant pause, a lull in conversation when there really ought to be something said. The silence that now envelops Cade is full of everything that makes us uncomfortable. The air is oppressive, the atmosphere is hostile, and anyone upon Cade's island can only report one simple feeling: unease. Cade's island is entirely uninhabitable because of this all-encompassing feeling. No mortal can spend longer than a few days upon its surface, less so if they tread too near the silent god husk. And yet, humans visit the island often, for it is full of secrets that they are determined to unearth. Connection to below. Despite clearly originating from Cade himself, weakening the closer the shore he gets, the aura of unease that blankets the island also seems to penetrate deep into the planet below. Under the island is a complex network of caves that seems to stretch for kilometers into the abyss, and it is reported that the terrible feeling only gets worse the deeper into the dark you go. Scraps from the Comprolith once again. A human-sized crown, said to be Cade's original crown before becoming a god. Its authenticity is highly debated, as the ascended human theory is entirely unproven. 3 different petitions signed by various groups of other gods, each time asking for Cade to either use his powers less, or to use them on those who didn't sign the petition in question. It is unclear if any of these documents ever actually reached the Old King. Some think that this simple fact proves 2 things. First of all, if there is indeed a gift from the sky embedded somewhere within Old King Cade, in general, there appears to be some sort of connection between the many different gifts, and the one embedded in his core could be acted as a conduit, directing his aura of unease deep into the planet where the errant thought seed was found, within those twisted abyssal caves. The second thing is proven, that there must still be one more gift down in the darkness, for the oppressive feeling of unease extending into the depths have not yet faded away. Let's see what is in this sidebar here that we haven't read yet. Throne of Gods. Cade is said to have had a weapon, many in fact, but never once crafted by the smithing duo of Kodad and Farad. Instead, the object they made for Cade was the seat upon which he still sits. The Throne of the Gods, the amplifier of Cade's great power. Just looked at the current page, listening while working on the map of my star systems, and holy shit, the overlapping side art is amazing. Listen, Stormbrill has all kinds of awesome things going on with the art within his world. There's so much, and it's so cool. Oh, the yawns. Oh no, the Saturday sleepies are taking me. Storm is divine ranked CSS, exactly, and Stormbrill is a black wizard in CSS. There you go. Everybody knows. Everyone's got to chime in saying the various praises of Stormbrill and his CSS skills. It's very cool. On the topic of Stormbrill and his CSS, he does offer, I believe, free CSS widgets and also ones that are like sold. So if you are looking for fun little CSS snippets you can add to your world, Stormbrill is definitely the place to go. I, for one, go against the grain. I think he uses too many boxes and containers. Still looks good, though. I mean, yeah, to each their own. Absolutely. I know vaguely how to do that, having done it once, but it was something much smaller than those arms. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of with you. Certain articles of Stormbrill's, I think, are awesome with the containers, and sometimes I do think that there may be too many. I think this one could theoretically do with a couple less, but I'm also not too bothered by them here. Here we go, maximum potential. Just like how other gods' weaponry befitted and amplified their powers, so too did the throne. When Cade sat upon it, his power to command loyalty and respect, to silence those when it was time for him to speak, was cast over the entire planet. It is said the effect did not last indefinitely and weakened the more he used it, as those under the effect began to grow resistant to it after time. Thus Cade only ever used it in times of great need, or when trying to shape the trajectory of the world. current power. Despite being in a decrepit state, and despite the charring that mars the surface of it, the Throne of God still amplifies Cade's powers, but at a reduced range. Most seem to think the area of effect likely doesn't extend any further than the shores of Cade's Island. It's just like overlapping with the edge of the menu so it looked like it wrapped. No one needs to agree with me. If we all agreed, our opinions would not matter. That's fair. That is true. Mad respect for doing that overlap with much bigger items and making it look great. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff going on over in Cathedras. Cause I don't know, if we look at this homepage, we have the arms. And it's cool to look at. It's really fun. Cause like it's not I don't know, it's not so wildly in your face and like huge, but it's just like it's a couple elements just thrown into the world that just really shape it well. Very jealous of that homepage. Well, hey, listen, if you dive into your CSS skills and just general things. Oh, well, here we go. Let's see. CSS shop. Here we go. Stormbrill's CSS add-ons. There you go. If you have little add-ons that you're interested in, like fantasy spoilers, sci-fi spoilers, like you can unlock these like an actual number lock, which is really fun. Little sci-fi code spoilers, magic mirrors. There's a whole lot of stuff in there. You can start clicking on stuff. Simple scrolls. Oh, that's cool. I actually haven't spent a lot of time looking at this page before, so I'm like taking the opportunity to just like have a peek. Delightful doors. They are indeed delightful. Alright, here we go. I'll just I'll send the link here for anyone who's interested in stuff like this. Yeah, see, we got some free ones. We got the tabs. So if you wanted to make little tab spoiler pages, these are really cool. You can get little randomizers for different articles and things. A 10-choice randomizer. And enhanced spoilers. Oh. 3 enhanced variations on traditional spoilers. That's pretty sick. And more coming soon. So yeah, Stormbrill does all kinds of things. Yeah, they are fun to see. They're fun to look at. And there's a discussion board for this. Very cool. Yeah, there's always something more to look at, something more to have a peep at. So we'll go back to this article because we have more or less concluded our readings for the day. If anyone else in the chat has not given me an article to read yet from this category, you are more than welcome to do so. You're more than welcome to just drop a link and say, hello, this is my article I did for this prompt. Here's my venerated character, specifically. And so I welcome you to do this. But if not, we can also just find something else to look at. Don't delete CSS lines you think are useless. Yeah, it can be very misleading. Some like one little detail will be like the glue holding your entire thing together. And if you take it out, it just like splits the entire thing down the middle. And you don't know why. Like, why is this silly little border radius so important? And you're like, oh, that's why. Because now everything looks bad. Let's see, definitely need to do more on mine. I do web design in my job, I have ideas. Just need to sit down and figure out what I want to do exactly. Gotta love the Chromium console when you can individually deactivate CSS lines. True. I used the tabs once. Storm's very helpful when I broke them, trying to bend them to my will. Yeah, that's the fun part about CSS. Sometimes you just break stuff. But this is, this is normal. This is natural. Things happen. Let me just... I need to go cross-legged in my chair so I can just kind of sit a little bit more comfortably.
Refresh
Oh,
yourselves.
and the sippies. Yes, of course. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You saved my life this day. Oh, so what shall we do with the rest of our time here? Because we do have about half an hour. We can explore some different things. We can look at more CSS shenanigans. You can see, ooh, actually, I need to look a little bit more at my total list. I've actually done another sweep today of all of my articles that I have to read through. And I have like 5 more that I need to kind of skim through and decide, like, you know, do they make a first wave cut or not? I've actually cut down quite a few. Almost forgot we could explore your children's tale article. Ooh. That is true. I feel like there's not a whole lot to share. I've definitely already looked at it on stream before. Let's see. We can still pull up the article. And we'll still have a little peep at it. Oh, when did Champions of the Dawn get so many likes? Alright, let's see. Let's go to my competition page. Let's pick out. So we just pull this up right here. Here are all of my articles from SummerCamp 2023. I actually have my little diamond winner, certificate up here, my little shelf. I printed it out on regular printer paper, but then I like kind of taped it to some thicker material so it doesn't flop around. I just have it propped up over here. In between my little world building awards trophies, I've turned them around because now they are signed world building trophies. Signed by Dimmy and Janet. Cause I brought them with me to the New York City meetup because they Dimmy was like, yeah, bring your trophies, we can sign them for you. And it'll be really fun. I was like, it's really cool. Janet drew a dinosaur on one of them. That's like, I think that's the best part. The little close-up trophy review. I mean, yeah, I guess we could. I just have to make sure I don't drop them. A one. They are glass, you know. Let's see. We'll save the dinosaur for last. So I need to look at my screen so I can actually see myself. You know, if we're gonna be looking at stuff. Greetings, hello. It is my face. I realize I'm trying to like show you stuff on my shelf and I'm like this small on your screen probably. But here she is. At least one of 2 world building trophies. Winner. Most boobyful world. And on the back, we have a little congratulations. Little world building awards, and you can see my little screen here. But this is the fun one. So we have, of course, the cartography award. And so we have this one right here. And there's a little dinosaur. Little dinosaur that Janet drew on it. It's really, really cute, really silly. And at the meetup, me and Janet actually designed a dinosaur together. Like a creature, we world builded together. It was a lot of fun. No, my Torchic! Sorry, I knocked over my little boy. I have this little guy, and I have like a smaller version now. Is that walnut? It's a little on the dark side, so I would say probably walnut. I'm not as familiar with like my like wood types as I used to be. So I used to do a lot of like adventures in wood shop and things. And also my dad is like a carpenter, so I would be like hanging out in the shop quite often. And so that would involve me like getting to know a lot of the materials that they were using. Unless I have to run, I gotta go help my dad. Everyone have a good rest of the day. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy helping your dad. I hope it's a wonderful day. Hell yeah, I'm a carpenter too. Wahoo! Yeah, my dad was more in the business of like stair building, and so that's pretty cool. But I remember a lot of the times when I was younger, I'd like go over there and we'd like make birdhouses together. Cause I don't know. At one point, I think it was I had to go like do a little birdhouse making thing. And my dad was like, "We'll just do that. We'll just do that together. What are you talking about?" But yeah, so it was fun. Lots of good times. I respect stair builders a lot. Their precision adaptability is admirable. Yeah, and oh my gosh, they do some like expensive work. Like I don't know how familiar we are with like Long Island and the Hamptons. I think they do a lot of work out there. Like those are the big money houses. Those are like the richy rich people. So you know that work is not cheap. So yeah, they do a lot of cool work out there. Let's see. I can look through a couple more articles while I just happen to be here. I want to make like a list of I don't know, of some of like the interesting observations I've made throughout the judging of my articles. Just like curious things, interesting world names. I just don't know how much time I'm gonna have to like go through and look through every single one to go see more of these details. The material costs alone are impressive for what is expensive. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know, like especially lately, or I don't know like how lately, but like within the last few years, I feel like everyone has just been talking about like, oh, the value of construction materials is like really wildly high. Um, I would say maybe because everyone's like stuck at home the past couple of years. Just like a lot more DIY projects, a lot more things going on. People are buying materials for. Also, just like getting materials, businesses being all kind of like disjointed and a little disrupted by things. Just a whole mess of things came together to make things more expensive. Also, shipping costs have gone up a lot. Oh my god, yeah. Like even for normal things, I feel like shipping has just gone wild. Good for me, bad for everyone else. That's fair. So let's see. Great reactionary. Ooh. So I'm just looking at some of these articles that are still on my list. And we are on the very last one. Alright, cool. Cool. So, my long list from yesterday was 124 articles. Now we're gonna do some magic to cut my first wave picks out. And now we are left with 68 articles total for more in-depth review. I think I will continue doing like my first sweep until that's down to 50. And then from that 50, we are then going to craft like an official long list. I'm wondering how many articles I want to put in the long list, just like in total. I feel like narrowing down the options is going to be so difficult. I think I'll go with 20 for my long list. And then from there, we'll go for a short list. And then furthermore from there, we'll pick our winner. The number one. That's gonna be the hardest part. That's gonna be the hardest part. There are a lot of side articles, just don't think I linked all of them. So many details. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, so I have 68 articles that are still on my list for consideration. And so we have our work cut out for us, my friends. I have just under 2 weeks to make my decision. Just under 2 weeks. And I'm wondering how I want to like structure my stream schedule for the rest of like those 2 weeks. Because of course I could do more article reads, I could do more of, you know, all of the above. Do more article reads, I could do more like feedback and reviews on stream. But yeah, I don't really have anything in particular that I'm going to be working on stream, at least for a little bit. We could do a little like work on our reading challenge together article. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do on Tuesday, like Tuesday evening. Tomorrow I'm going to be streaming more Baldur's Gate 3. That is if my time and energy allows. So 2 p.m. Eastern time I will be back on here playing some more Baldur's Gate. It's gonna be a solo run. And I believe starting next week on Sundays we're going to start doing a duo run. Me and one of my friends, we're gonna be on here playing some Baldur's Gate 3. We're gonna be 2 terrible tieflings. We're gonna be just awful little weird creatures running around, causing mischief, causing mayhem. Any amount of mischief and mayhem, who knows? Who knows what direction we'll go, what characters we'll create. But we're probably gonna spend another like hour or so in character creation like we did yesterday. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, I don't know. I have to ask the chat now. How many of you have played Baldur's Gate so far? So I know some people who took the day off work to go play Baldur's Gate. I know people who dove in like immediately as soon as it became available. I waited until the day after release to dive in because I came home from work, bought the game, downloaded it, and then the next day I played. My laptop will die. Oh man, my computer is like 2,000 degrees when I run this game. It's pretty wild. I'm excited to do the evil route. Played early access. Need to wait for PlayStation. Totally fair. I can't play like purely evil characters. I just can't find it in me to do it. Like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hurt the NPC's feelings. I can't do that. Holding off until I move. I have 20 gigabytes of free space. Oh no. Yeah, you're gonna need about 5 times that, actually. I think quite literally, you're gonna need 5 times that in order to play this game. 120 gigabytes. Oof. They didn't have the Mind Flayer option in EA, so I said out loud, what if I want the Brain Slug? Well, too bad, you get the Brain Slug anyway. Or you don't really get to choose not to have it at this point. I think they just give it to you. And that's not really a spoiler, that's the first like 10 seconds of the game. No, I'm having a lot of fun. There's just one thing that has been getting me when oh, you can lean into it and choose to become a Mind Flayer. Oh, okay. That's cool. That's pretty fun. But yeah, the one thing that I've noticed that has been like frustrating me a little bit with the game is that I keep trying to play it like it's Divinity Original Sin 2. But the mechanics are all very different. Like the combats are different, of course. Like it's D&D, you know? Sedrahanit arises from the crypt. Hello, welcome. Yeah, before Bard and Warlock was super fun, but yeah, now I want to be an evil Mind Flayer. Yeah, I'm actually I'm playing a sorcerer in my solo run that I'm doing on stream, and I'm playing a bard in just like a friends 4-man campaign that we just started yesterday as well. And in my duo playthrough that we're going to start soon on stream, I don't know, I'm thinking druid. I'm thinking druid, but I'm not sure. Not 100% yet, but we'll see. They are. Leaping and jumping stuff is different. Yeah, absolutely. Really it's messing me up in combat for the most part. Cause like I suck at D&D combat, just like in general. Like in the actual tabletop game, like I'm not good at D&D combat. I suck at like being very efficient with my action economy and like and knowing what I'm trying to do. So it really is like I run in, I use an attack, I think about my life choices, and I pass turn. Like but in Divinity Original Sin 2, I would like, you'd get like a couple, like several attacks in a row. You'd just like fire off a bunch of things, use all your abilities, several spells in a round. But here it's a lot slower. I have to be a lot more deliberate with the turns that I take and the things that I'm doing. But being able to like jump around places is pretty fun. So, but so it's not bad. I just need to get out of the mindset like this is a different game. This is a different game with different mechanics, and I need to just figure out how to play it that way, how to play it correctly. But it's D&D. It's D&D. It's fun. I like getting to roll for things. I like seeing the funny little dice. And the camp mechanic is also really cool. I explored that for the first time yesterday. Because I never played early access. Like, I never touched the game before yesterday. So I bought the game, downloaded the game, started up the game. That was my first time playing. First time ever. So if you want to see a silly little nerd who never played the game before play more of Baldur's Gate 3, feel free to tune in tomorrow, and I will be on here. I'll be playing more of the game. And yeah, we'll see my little adventures. I already died once. Like, I already had my party wiped, so... I love how more in-depth the environment and such can be in Divinity. It was there, but here it is a whole new thing. Totally agree why this can help get better at combat. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm hoping that playing through this game can help level me up in actual D&D. That'd be pretty sick. So I can know more about myself and all the mechanics and how to better manage my turns, and who knows, maybe even how to be a little bit better of a role player, how to write more fun stories at the table. No, it's really fun. It really is just like hopping into a D&D game where the computer is your DM and things around you just kind of happen. Right? We haven't had a good D&D game since what, Neverwinter Nights 2. That's the word. I never actually played Neverwinter. Well, there was a Neverwinter game that I started playing, but then like didn't get super far. Like, I had a friend who was really into it at the time, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll hop in and I'll play a little bit. I had fun. It was a pretty good time, but then I fell off of it because like I had a lot of other games that I was just actively in at the time. So yeah, thing just didn't stick, I guess. But no, it's really cool. I'm having a lot of fun with Baldur's Gate 3 so far. I'm hungry for D&D. I want to play more D&D, and so this is a really good way for me to do it. See, that was super cool because you could actually have a DM mode and run your friends through it and react and such, so you could play or make a dungeon. Ooh. On the topic of having a DM mode, like, doesn't Divinity have... Divinity has like a DM thing where you can like craft your own places and put down NPCs and make encounters, right? That's something I always wanted to play with. Something I always wanted to explore, you know? But it never came up. Never came up. I never had the opportunity to do it. Maybe one day. One day. Because I would love, after I do like a playthrough or two of Baldur's Gate 3, I would love to come back, like on stream, come back and play Divinity Original Sin 2. Because I've also never finished the story for DOS 2 either. For all of the hours I've played in it, hold on, let me see if I can pull up Steam real quick. It's gonna pop up. Let's go to my library. How many hours have I played of Divinity Original Sin 2? I have played 320 hours of Divinity Original Sin 2, and I've never finished the game. I've never once finished Divinity Original Sin 2, and I've put 320 hours into it. Just finished the first island in DOS, thought it was the whole game. No. No, no, no. It's gotten to the point where me and my friends will start new runs of Divinity Original Sin 2, and we will get through Fort Joy, get through the first island in like lightning speed. Because we've done it so many times, we know where everything is. We know where all the special items are, we know where all the encounters are, and we just get off the island as quickly as possible. It's so wild. But yeah, it's just Act 1 lightning speed run. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, it's pretty cool. Kill everyone, take everything, get out of here. Exactly. Evan Eriks, hi. How are you doing? How's you poppin'? We're sitting here talking about Baldur's Gate 3 and Divinity Original Sin 2. Just two games from the same studio. We were just commenting about how like this is a long ass game. I put 320 hours into DOS 2 and I haven't finished it. So that's always fun. But no, like I love playing it, which is why I've put so many hours into it. Just one of these days, I need to sit down and actually finish a playthrough. Like, wouldn't that be sick if I could just finish a playthrough of the game? Oh, Baldur's Gate 3 got the new Divinity game canceled though. Boo. Well, listen, with how awesome this game was, I feel like they will have ample opportunity to make a new game in the future. But I'm okay with Baldur's Gate 3 kicking around for a while if it means we get a new Divinity game like far in the future and it's like just as good, you know what I mean? I don't know, Baldur's Gate 3 so far is pretty poppin'. It's an awesome time. I'm really enjoying the game. And Larian Studios continues to be like the GOAT in my opinion. With like the no microtransactions, like full game experience for the full price. They have like a little collector's edition thing, but it's all cosmetics in there and like some like art book and all that kind of stuff. And I do want that art book. I feel like the art from Larian just like always hits. The art and the music, both just like chef's kiss. But no, I would love in the future to get my hands on a Divinity Original Sin 3, if such a thing could ever happen. Oh, and you know what? I want to go check out Humble Bundle, because I think I've been seeing just like in ads all over the place that there's like a cozy game bundle. Is this true? Whimsy and Wonder? Yeah, let's look at this together, shall we? Because this is something I'm thinking about getting. We can just pop back in to our little stuff screen. See, look at this. Whimsy and Wonder, a cozy games collection. Game bundle. So you can get 10 games for $13. And A Short Hike. That is the game that I played last on my stream. What a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful game it was. It was such a sweet little adventure. Every moment of me playing this game was an absolute delight and a joy. But all these other games seem so cute. Like Cat Cafe Manager? Adorable. Witchy Life Story? Just more games to add to my list. Oh, what is this one? The art seems really cool. Oh yeah, I caught the first part of that stream. Yeah, it was a great game. I loved it. Let's see, assemble with care. Did you make it to the peak? I did! I did make it to the peak. It was so nice. It was so pretty. Like, I don't know, like I got to the peak. And it started playing like the scene and everything. And then like there's that moment where you just kind of like, you know, it's time to go back down, so you glide off of it. And all the scenery, the way everything looks in that scene, like I was about to cry. Like I was ready to just like I was about ready to start the waterworks, you know what I mean? It was just so beautiful. I loved looking at it. Let's see, what is Assemble with Care? When Maria, a globetrotting antique restorer, arrives in the sun-soaked town of Bellariva. She has no idea how broken it will turn out to be. She wants nothing more than to help the town's inhabitants save their most beloved possessions, but when it's their personal lives that are starting to fracture, she'll need to find a way to hold them together one spare screw at a time. So it's a little puzzle game with story. That's fun. A completely hand-illustrated story. Oh, pretty. Yeah, because I'm looking at this this image, like this icon here, and it looks really cool. The art style is really beautiful. But is the whole game like this? I don't know. Let's well, let me see real quick. Bum, bum, bum. Let me see about some of this real quick. Ooh. Gonna have a peek at this little video here.
You ever wonder why we get so attached to things?
I do sometimes, yes.
All this stuff we own is just screws and wires. Except sometimes it isn't.
Ooh.
A whole life can be captured in the flash of a camera. Wounds healed by picking up a phone.
This is really cute.
Even the smallest object can hold the biggest meaning. But when it all falls apart, how do we put things together again?
I like the music. This game seems awesome for like ADHD brain, where you're just like, I want to assemble things. I want to put things together. I don't know. I'm really considering getting this bundle. How long do I have to deliberate on this? Hello, do you have a timer? I don't know where to see how long I have before it disappears. Oh, offer ends in 4 days. Alright, so I have 4 days to think about this. There's also a RuneScape bundle. Yeah, I could get a bird. For anyone wondering, I do in fact sometimes play RuneScape in my spare time. I get really overwhelmed with all of the everything that is currently in the everything that is currently in like the new version of the game, but sometimes I do like to pop into old school RuneScape and just have a good time. Have a good chill time repeating the same task for 12 hours. I don't say that as a negative, I say that as like I like the experience. It's nice to just sit there and turn your brain off and see the little XP number go up slowly. RuneScape still exists. RuneScape is thriving, dude. RuneScape is well and alive into the modern day. Here's a Baldur's Gate and Beyond bundle. That's pretty sick. Looks like you can actually get Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate 2, Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear, Faces of Good and Evil, Enhanced Edition, Planescape Torment, and Icewind Dale. Pretty sick. And that's for $12, so you can get all of those games. Listen, a Humble Bundle is like pretty wild. Like they just be throwing stuff at us for pennies on the dollar. RuneScape has its best year every year. Have you tried Potion Permit? I haven't. I have not actually tried that game. Let's see what kind of software we got. Game Dev's Guide to Character Assets. That's pretty fun. Yo, who is this? Slime. Just like looking at him. This is not something that I think I would use. Alright, what else was I looking at? Character management? Ooh. Yeah, I haven't tried Potion Permit. A lot of people have suggested it to me, so I think it will be something that I would like to try at some point. Be a lot of fun. It'd be really cool. Let's see. Character management tools for Pathfinder. Oh, that's cool. I don't play Pathfinder though, but I feel like if anyone else in here does, this could be handy for you. Hero Lab. Service time. Pathfinder. What else? What else is on here that I think I would be interested in? Pamper your pets. If you want to pamper your pets, you can get a little book bundle there. Oh, but Mexican cooking. Ooh. Get a collection of cookbooks for Mexican cooking. Deepen your understanding of Mexican cuisine with this expansive collection of cookbooks designed to help you harness and master the flavors you love. Line, what's your soundtrack? Because the music is really nice. Ooh, yeah, so I use Epidemic Sound for my music. And this, for the most part, this is like the default Bardcore playlist that they have. Let's see. I'll copy a link to this playlist because I have it playing through Spotify. Let's see if this works. So here we go. That's the playlist. I want to add more stuff to it. Like I literally did just like take a playlist that already existed on their site and just kind of like said, okay, thank you. I think I maybe like pulled a song or two out of it. No, there's still 30 songs on there. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool, chill, like fantasy-ish vibes. It's kind of what I like. I need to add more to it though, because it's like an hour long. I'd like to have a little bit less repeat songs, you know? Yeah, some Mexican cooking. It's tempting. I've recently, like, very deeply fallen in love with Mexican cooking. And so, two things. Mexican cooking and Indian cooking. Two cuisines. I feel they're very different in nature, but like they're absolutely amazing to me. They make every fiber of my being happy when I consume them. And so I've been endeavoring to consume as much of both as possible. Though I should try to do that a little bit less because money is a thing. Thanks so much for the read, heading out. See you on Discord. Heck yeah, see you later. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And of course, anyone who wishes to hang out with me a little bit more often, or, hang out. If you want more of my updates, if you want more of my everything more easily accessible to you, you are welcome to hop into my Discord server. It's where I post all my announcements a lot more often. I will forget to post my announcements pretty much in every other server I'm in. So if you want to keep up with me and my community and all the things that we do, Discord server. You also get access to some of my fun little emotes. Because of course we got myself and Gyoza over here. I would recommend Arabic Mediterranean cuisine, but I'm biased as hell. I would love to try it. I don't think I've ever tried or like had the opportunity to try like Arabic cuisine. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know, there's so many things I just haven't tried very much. Greek cuisine is prime. Ooh. I haven't had a whole lot of Greek either. Like my I don't know, my experience with Greek anything is very limited. Had like I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, but like spanakopita, I think I've tried from like a Greek restaurant recently, like really delicious. I loved it. Yeah, I don't know. If you're ever coming to the Netherlands, I can take you to my mom's and she'll pull out a feast for you. Wonderful. Yeah, man, I would love to visit all you wacky, wild world builders over there overseas. It's like, it'd be so much fun. Heaven, yes. I need to get out of my bubble a little bit more. There's lots of things I haven't tried before. Cause like, I only discovered my love for Indian cuisine very recently because I just on a whim happened to it's really funny. I happened to buy frozen meals from the supermarket that were like Indian food. So like some I'm trying to remember exactly which one it was. I think it was like a chicken korma. And I just tried it at home. I was like, oh yeah, easy microwave dinner. And I tried it, I'm like, what are these flavors? I'm in love. And so ever since then I've been like buying more of those. I've also been ordering out a lot more Indian food while I'm at work. And it's just I can't help myself. I'm trying like a different thing off of this one restaurant's menu basically every time I order out. I'm like, oh, hit after hit after hit, dude. So good. Should be shilling my native cuisine, but Greek hits better. Listen, it's okay to like cuisine that is different from your own. In fact, I think that's a really fun thing to have. Let's see, where am I? Where am I? So it is 4 o'clock. It is about time for me to head out. And once again, I'm saying I will be streaming tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, hitting that Baldur's Gate once again. Let's see who we can send you to, so you can keep these good vibes going in someone else's chat. It's always welcome. Let's see who can raid. How about I send you all to Tale Foundry? Always a wonderful channel to go hang out in. We can see what they're up to. Lots of wonderful good things always happening around over there. So thank you everyone who stopped by for these article reads today. It was really fun hanging out with you, really fun talking to you. Thank you to any of WorldAnvil's raiders who stuck around. I'm always happy to have you here. Always happy for the lurks, always happy for the chatters. Just anyone who is here, you are always welcome to come back. Good night, Strix. Good night to you as well, kind citizen. So everyone, stay happy, stay healthy, stay hydrated. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And remember, grab your sippies and go world build. I will see you guys around. Oh, where's the button? Where's the button?